Hello again, and today we're going to talk about Advent Orochi, the beast, the monster who has dominated mostly the arena and anything else, I would say. Like, if not only in my server, it is, I would believe it's in every other server. You will find this Orochi everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. Like the number one must have them, the whatever. So it is a must to have him at this point, and we need to explain what exactly he does. So I wanted to say what this video will cover: his skills, his 8 elements, what exactly you should have around him. Like, is his weapon very important? Is his fight soul very important? Like, what exactly is important and actually makes a difference about him? So, first of all, we're going to go about his skills, his 8 elements, everything about that, because some people I know don't really like to read that much. So, as much as I do, honestly, I don't really like reading, but let's say we're going to read for this part. So, let's say that there are some important things that we should know. First, Divine Sigil, and it's a buff, special buff. Each attack increases small skill damage and arc damage. So when we say Divine Sigil, this is what we mean, or what it does. Divine Mark, and it's created by fusing 10 Divine Sigils, and it greatly increases small skill damage and arc damage for 1 round, and you cannot get new Divine Sigil during its duration. And at the end, Divine Shield, which is, of course, a defensive ability that you can get. Okay? All right. So this is like the small skill, Yukai, I believe, and it's just the kick that he does, and which he changes later on to an area of effect skill that is deadly. This is like the most oppressive thing I have seen in this game so far. Like, it can literally like delete people instantly. So that's why it's very important. Of course, the ultimate, and again, divine sigil, as we said before, divine punishment. It's a special debuff, and it reduces the target's defensive abilities. And if the target was already under divine punishment before his attack, the fighter additionally restores 5% from divine shield. Okay. Okay. All right. So that's it for this part. So his skill and ultimate are really important, but here is the leader boost that he gives, and which is upon entering battle or at the start of each ally round, he dispels own debuffs and petrifications, restores rage to one ally who is not at full rage, and allows all allies to still trigger, block, or damage resist even when being critically hit. So it's a very good thing to have. It's just a buff that is genuinely the best captain before. It's the most recent captain, so it makes sense that it's gonna be the best one so far. So what I care about the most is the elements, and those what we're gonna talk about in details. But not from here, not from this page. Sorry, we're gonna go to this page. And we're just here, but anyways. So there are two ways to look at this: the small one, or the summarized one, and the detailed one, or that's how I would like to see it. So we're gonna do the small one first, and at the end we're gonna go into details, okay? So that's his lake element, which is immune to reflect, burn, stun, and skill ban. Okay, upon entering battle or reviving, gains a large amount of energy control that gradually decays. The exact amount we will know if at the end, not now. And of course, provides leader buff, which we said, it's all of that. It's a huge buff that you get for a lot of things, including rage and increased damage and increased resistance, damage resistance, and so on. When other ally fighters attack, may trigger this fighter's small skill pursuit. This is one of the most important parts of his kit. When taking damage during the enemy's turn, may trigger counter attack. When taking damage, gains divine wrath. So wrath, what is divine wrath? It is, where is it? Small skill pursue, and then counter attack, divine fury. We didn't talk about fury yet. I'm not sure where wrath is, but it looks like it's not here yet. Okay, it's gonna be explained in another part. But anyways, so you're gonna get divine wrath, can revive once. Upon entering battle or reviving, gains HP lock and 90% divine shield. When taking damage, if the attacker is not affected by divine punishment, consume 5% of the divine shield to inflict divine punishment and rage seal on the attacker. Upon entering battle, activates leader's aura. Okay, so that's the summarized part for this skill, the Kami no Ryuki. So that's the second gate, the lake element. Okay, what about the thunder? What happens when you activate the thunder? And should you actually do it or not? Let's say that so far, of course, the S Max is the best one, and you should always look for this if you want to maximize a character. But this is the soft spot that you can stop if you are not really able to invest that much into the character because you don't have or you are willing to invest in other characters as well. So let's say that this is where you should go to. This is your get go. And let's say why. First of all, attacks a single enemy, gains one divine sigil, has a chance to stun the target. When holding 10 divine sigil, they are fused into divine mark. And as we said, divine mark created by fusing 10 sigils greatly increase small damage skill and arc damage for one round. Okay, so while holding Divine Mark, switches to Hono Susuri and attacks all enemies and gain 5% Divine Shield. Both small skills gain deals arc damage to each target hit, increases all allies' tenacity rate and tenacity power, while the fighter gains double the effect. When triggered as a counterattack, does not restore rage to enemies hit, restores HP and rage to self. Of course, deal 208% plus 1275 damage to a single target. And Hono Sorcery deal 1242% plus 1275 damage to all target. This is huge. I want to tell you that this is his most broken skill so far, and it deletes people, as I said before. So this is where you need to stand. And basically, just if you don't understand so far, what happens is each time you attack, you gain a stack, one stack. And you need 10 in order to activate the area of effect skill. And once you activate that, you can kill like 4 people in one attack. Or it depends, of course, on the power difference between you and the enemy. But usually, it's very effective to have it like every 2 rounds. That's amazing. So, what helps with this? What helps with that? How do we get this faster? His fight soul. It adds 1 soul each time, or 1 stack, sorry, each time. So it's a lot. It on the long term, on your long battle, it's a lot. So his fight soul is very important to get. Okay, all right. Now his S max, which is like just like an AoE damage with his ult, attacks a single enemy, gains power strike, deals massive additional damage and arc damage to each target hit. If holding Divine Sigil, gains one additional sigil, If holding Divine Mark, deals additional arc damage to the main target, applies Divine Punishment and Rage Seal to the main target, and restores 5% Divine Shield. And has a chance increased of holding Divine Mark to reduce rage for all Divine Punishment targets. So far this is a lot. Let's break it down. So when you attack, you gain Power Strike, okay, which deals massive additional damage. So you deal more damage. If holding Divine Sigil, gains one additional. So instead of getting one, probably you're getting two, which is a lot, honestly. Also, uh, on top of that, if you're holding Divine Mark, these additional damage to the main target, and Rage Seal to the main target. Rage Seal is a special debuff which prevents the target from restoring rage until the rage gained offsets the Rage Seal value. Okay, so until he gains more rage than the seal itself, he'll be not able to gain rage. Okay, that's the first part. And of course, you gain rage, divine shield. Sorry. So, after that, the all the targets that are under the effect of divine punishment, you increase your own arc damage. You dispel one deep buff, petrification, and armor break from a random ally. So so far this is like huge. This is insanely huge as getting to an S max. So, do you really need to S max this guy? Do you really need this? Well, if you can, he is amazing on the long run and he will be beneficial to your team like as much as you can think of. Is it necessary? Not really. What is necessary is to stop here. After you stop here, you should be okay, but it really depends on your position. So you have to assess the situation yourself. At this point, you're able to do so. If you think that you are competing against people who all have Orochi S Max and you just need to do it and you have the capabilities to do so, go ahead. But it costs a lot in order to do so. And let me tell you something else after we mostly finished his 8 elements in a brief, not in a detailed way. How can you support this guy? First, his weapon is not the most important. The most important is his fight soul, as we said before. His weapon comes next. If you can afford it, then why not? I know that the fight soul is already gone and we can't get it now, but I'm saying for the next time it comes around, you really should get it. Okay, so what else can we add to this guy? What else can we put on him? Of course, the set for him, excuse my poor situation here, but it's Wolf. Also, when you have his, wait, let me go to there. This fight soul, of course, I don't have it, but you can use, or the one that you should use is Wolf. Second star, and you will be more than good. Yeah, I guess that's it for that part. So, who can help this guy? First, you need to know that how his kit works. So, as we said before, each time he attacks, he gains one stack. And after he gains this stack, I'm talking if you went to the Thunder gate. Before that, it's not the same, but this is what I'm talking about. If you stop here or you go to the S Max, this is how you should get the most damage out of him. So he chases, or he has a percentage to chase after each attack from an ally, which means that you need your allies to be alive in order to do that. So you need a tank defending those people. Unfortunately, I do not have this kind of tank, so what happens is this Q girl gets demolished, deleted in a second, and also maybe all of them just die, and he's fighting alone. And when he fights alone, he's not really the best. He's still very, very good, but it's not his best. His best is when you have all of them together. So think of him as a team player. So I would say mature, which is the next tank coming next month, I believe, is very important for him. Of course, plus Yuri, but that's coming in like 6 months or 5 months. But for now, Advent Mature should be very important for Orochi and for the whole team. Just the idea of providing sharing damage, because Mature can take damage instead of you, instead of any of the characters. So she can absorb the damage herself, and the others will not die. So the others will attack, so that means more stacks, and that means more area of effect skill that can kill many people. Okay? That's mostly what you need to do. So the first one that you really really need with him is mature, in order to make sure that the whole team can survive as much as it can. And that does not mean that you just get tanks and that's it. No, that means you need to make your team survive as much as you can in the way you see best. Okay? Okay. So just to recap, what you need on this guy is the fourth gate, if you can. Of course, what I'm saying is what you can do. If you can do it, then you can do it. There's nothing to do about that. But anyways, so what you need to get to, or what's the soft spot where you can stand, is the fourth gate. And the fight soul, if you can, or if you have them, of course I don't, but if you can, get the wolf one, second star, and of course his inner soul, which is very important to get, as it adds one additional divine sigil, the stacks, and it provides some buffs, including his own arc damage, which is of course important, but not as important as the stack that he gets whenever he attacks. So he gets one stack per round, by the way. So it's just one stack each round, but it's very effective. Very effective. You can't imagine. And of course, when we come to the Nest's transform, you have to get something on him that increases damage or attack and HP. Yeah, there is nothing really that important in this part. Here, you can fill his star chart if you can. Of course, the more you can put on him, the better results you'll get. Okay, all right. So, as I said before, mature Yuri also is a plus. All of that is very important. Now, I want to just take a look at the 8 elements in detail, just to see what it is like. Like when it's detailed, you can see increase attack, defend, and small skill trigger chance by 50%, and increases damage power, damage resistance, small scale resistance, and alt resistance by 70%. It becomes immune to reflect, burn, stun, and skill ban as well. So it's really important to second gate him. It's not really a choice to second gate him or not, because as we said, it provides a lot of things. Like the amount of passives it provides, you can see yourself how far it goes. When any other fighter performs their first attack each round, excluding pursuits and counterattacks, the fighter has a 35% chance to dispel debuffs and petrify from self and perform a small skill pursuit. So that's why I'm saying that you need a team around you living and kicking in order to get the best out of him, because you need them to attack. You need them to be there in order to get this 35% chance, in order to get the sigils or the stacks. So if the pursuit does not trigger, the chance increases by an additional 35% for subsequent checks. So the first time is 35, the second is 70, and the third is 105. So it's guaranteed. During the enemy round, if the fighter is hit and current HP falls below 60%, immediately performs a small skill or alt counter attack. So this is also important because it provides you one stack. Each time the fighter takes damage, gain one stack of Divine Fury and restores 5% plus Divine Fury multiplied by 1%, and that's less than the HP. So what's said here is that you gain rage for how much or how many Divine Fury stacks you have. So the more you get hit, the more you gain shield, and also the more you get rage, which means more ults. And of course, you can revive once, and you have 90% divine shield, and of course it provides suppression. The shield provides suppression equal to 95% of its value. So each time the fighter is hit, the divine shield decreases by 1%. If the attacker's attack is higher than the fighter's, the divine shield decreases by an additional 3%. So you would like your attack to be very high. And the attacker loses 10% attack for one round. Stackable, but duration does not refresh. So the more they attack you, the more attack they lose. When hit, if the attacker is not affected by divine punishment, additional 3% of divine shield is consumed to apply divine punishment, reduces defense by 30%, and res rate by 60% for one round. So, as we said, it is very important for all of them. The thunder element, or the fourth gate, um, the one that we said that it is very important, attacks a single enemy, gains one stack of divine sigil, as we said before, increases small scale damage by 8%, and final arc damage or arcane damage by 1.5%, and 40% chance to stun the target, which is very important. You have a 40% chance whenever you attack to stun the target. If the fighter holds 10 stacks of divine sigils before attacking, all stacks are fused into divine mark, increases small scale damage by 100%, and final arc damage by 20% for one round. While holding divine mark, this attacks switches to Hono sorcery, attacking all enemies, and you gain 5% divine shield. Both small skills gain the following effects: you deal 90% arc damage to each target hit, increases all allies' tenacity and tenacity power by 25% for 2 rounds, and the fighter gains double the effect, so 50% for him. If this attack is triggered as a counter attack, it does not restore rage to enemies hit. It restores 30% HP and 300 rage to self. All buffs granted by this attack are stackable with other buffs and cannot be dispelled. So it deals 208% plus this amount of damage to a single target, and it deals this percentage 1242 1242% to all target. This is what we're talking about. This is the huge part of it. Okay, so that's it for this video, I guess. Of course, you want to maximize everything possible in him: runes, synchro point, star chart, cosmic power, everything possible should be given to this guy at this point until the others arrive. And you have to take care because this guy can still kill him if Kusanagi is S-maxed. It will be a problem. And also, do not have two captains at the same time like I'm doing now. It's a mistake because once you see any captain, or sorry, any S-maxed Orochi, he's going to just kill you first round. It's not gonna be a fight because he has like a passive that increases damage by 1000% in his S-maxed if there are two captains on the other team. So you'll just die in a minute, less than a minute even. Anyways, that's it for today. I hope the video was good for you and informative. And I'm gonna see you in next videos whenever we can. Bye bye.